Hey guys, just before we get to today's clip, just a quick reminder for all Serie A fans in the UK and Ireland, you can now stream every single match live on OneFootball. No matter which team you're backing, OneFootball's got you covered. You can watch on via the OneFootball app on your phone or connected TVs from Apple TV, Google TV, Samsung, LG, and Fire TV, or on the website tv.onefootball. And what's even better is that you can choose how you watch it. You can grab a team or a season pass to watch all the matches until the end of the season, or just the ones from your favourite club. There's also a match day pass for £9.99 to watch all the weekend's games, or a single match on pay-per-view for £4.99. And yeah, if you missed a live game, you'll still get access to all the match highlights too. So if Serie A is your thing, OneFootball is where it's at. We'll have a link in the description of the episode for you to buy your preferred stream.
Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Let's move on though from this to preview the Bayern game, the second leg. So Inter 2-1 up from the first leg in Munich. The second leg of this quarterfinal is on Wednesday at, and I'm going to say this just to make Nima laugh, 2100 CET kickoff at San Siro. Again, as was the case last week, Bayern have a massive injury crisis going in. No Musiala, Alphonso Davies, Upamecano, Hiroki Ito, Buchanan, Pavlovic, they're all out. Neuer,
Pavlovic could be back. Pavlovic could be back is the latest I saw, yeah.
Yeah, difficult though, because he had the Epstein-Barr virus, very difficult one to come back from, knowing kind of what your state is like. Neuer, I believe, is still going to be out, isn't he? Manuel Neuer.
It's touch and go, but Kingsley Coman is back.
Kingsley Coman's back. He played at the weekend, and then of course Kim Min-jae is playing with painkillers with an Achilles injury. So, yeah, Bayern are not in particularly good shape. Inter are without Zielinski, Taremi, but Aslani is back from suspension. Dumfries is still out though, right?
Yeah, he's out.
Dumfries is still out. So those are the players that are missing. If we look at the probable 11s, I mean, Inter's is pretty easy to predict. I think there's one position. So there's Sommer, then in defence, Pavard, Acerbi, Bastoni, Darmian as right wing back, Barella, Calhanoglu, and Mkhitaryan. And then you're going to have Augusto or Dimarco. I want to ask you about that in a minute. And then Lautaro and Thuram up front. And then Bayern, you're looking at Udbig or Neuer if he somehow recovers. Then defence, we're probably looking at Lima, Eric Dyer, Kim, then Stanisic or Guerrero at left back, and then Kimmich and Goretzka in centre mid, and then Olise, Sane on the wings, Kane up front, and then in the number 10, Muller or Guerrero is playing in that position, the Musiala position. The big question I want to ask you, Nima, on Inter, I think there's only one starting shirt up for grabs, Augusto or Dimarco. First of all, who do you think will play? And then secondly, who would you play?
I'm scared that Inzaghi is going to play Dimarco, and because I think he wants to get Dimarco up and running, and Dimarco's a senior player at this Inter, and his left foot and on counters and the diagonal balls to help break the press gives him a lot. And I understand that in going forward, set pieces, again, forcing your opposition to shift, move laterally with his left fantastic cross balls and diagonal balls, it creates problems for the opposition. The issue, so I think he's going to start, and I think the fact that he played as much as he did against Cagliari was a clear signal that he's going to start. However, I would start Carlos Augusto for the simple fact of what you saw away to Bayern. Defensively outstanding, did not give Olise, did not give Kimmich any time. Together with Bastoni, they were fantastic defensively. Dimarco, it doesn't close down players. He doesn't do that because he's scared. He knows he's going to get beat because he's a bit slow on the turn, and he's not very quick at reacting. So I worry, and he stands off players. And if you give Kimmich time on the right, his right, Inter's left, to pinpoint passes, into the box with Kane, Müller, or Goretzka, Kingsley Coman running in from the box, they're going to score. They're going to harm you, and you only have 1 goal lead. So I would rather play Carlos Augusto this game. I would rather play him for the 90 minutes.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a really, really difficult one. Because it worked. Tactically, it worked. But then you're the home team. You're going to be expected to have more of the ball, to take the game to the opposition. Are you better doing that with Dimarco or with Augusto? It's a really tough one. I would want to also know, before making that decision, what is the physical shape of Dimarco? He hasn't been for a while in optimal physical shape. I would want to make that decision. I would want to see kind of like just what is his fitness like and going into the game. And then also, how do you intend to approach the game? You know, are you going to have the same strategy as in the first leg of sitting back and counter-attacking, in which case you probably are better with Augusto because he's going to have more defending to do? Or are you going to try and take the game more to Bayern, in which case then you're better off with Dimarco because he can create the chances. So
I think it would be suicide if Simone Inzaghi thought that he was going to dominate possession from minute 1 against Bayern Munich, because that's just not how Bayern play. Like, Bayern will just destroy you. You can't dominate them like that. You have to approach this game with the same intelligence that Inter did and management, in-game management, that they did away at the Allianz, where they were perfect. I mean, I thought the game plan was outstanding in that game.
Bayern play with a very high line, a really high line. And when your 2 centre-backs are Kim Min-jae carrying an injury and Eric Dyer, one of the slowest defenders on the face of the planet, then you're going to get chances. And I mean, I saw the Bayern Dortmund game, and Bayern created a lot of chances in that game, a hell of a lot of chances, but they also conceded such bad goals and such bad chances. They can't defend. So, you know, if we're moving on to predictions in this game, Nima, I don't see how Inter don't score in this game. But at the same time, I think Bayern will create chances because they've got too much quality in attack. So I'm going to go draw. I'm going to say 1-1 draw in this game. I think it's going to be tight. And I don't think Inter will take it easy and think they're through, because they're not through. This is, you know, if you watch that first game, you know, there's more than enough still in this Bayern team, even with all the absentees, to still go through in this tie. So I think this is still going to be a very, very difficult game for Inter. But I think a draw. I think they'll just do it.
I think a draw is where you're at, given that Inter have never beaten Bayern Munich at the San Siro. They just never have done that. And it's, you know, this is far from over, and Inter know it's far from over. Yes, they have that slight advantage of a goal, but there are no away goals anymore. And so Inter know that they have to 90 minutes of suffering. And he's going to field his strongest lineup. I just feel that the game plan and the formation on last Tuesday was perfect. And so I would go with the same. I would continue with the same. Maybe minor tweaks, but overall, that was the game plan to handle Bayern Munich and not defend too deep, because that's what happened in the second half. I didn't like 20 minutes in the second half, where I thought Inter, after coming out well, starting the second half well, for 20 minutes were way too deep because they ran out of gas, which is normal. But I want Inter to manage the game and their energy levels better in this game. And I need Barella, Mkhitaryan, and Calhanoglu to have a fantastic game again. I need Lautaro. The big players need to turn up, the Bastonis, the Lautaros, the Barellas. Barella was... the more I look at that game, the more I look at the overall performance of Barella in that first leg, it's one of the best performances I've seen an Inter midfielder give in the Champions League ever. He was unplayable, absolutely unplayable, and he needs to be that good again. Like
Yeah.
this is the part of the season where they need to step up. And I if Barella plays like that, because he just ran circles around the Goretzka and Kimmich and the rest of them, and they couldn't get anywhere near him. Yeah. And if he does that, then a lot is won. So, it's going to be tight. I think a draw as well. I think 1-1 is where it's going to end probably.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. We need Inter to stay in.